Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line, and usually it's Mike Reyes from CinemaBlend.com, but seeing how he is on vacation this week, we still need to talk about movies and entertainment news and all that. So joining me on the line, he has a mustache finer than Vince McMahon. His name, Moose. What's going on, buddy?
Hello, how are you?
Jeez, way to jump right in, both feet.
Really? Sorry, you started it with the Vince McMahon mustache thing. That is just...
I wanted to bring Vince McMahon into this somehow because of that mustache in this week. So,
like, if that had been released closer to Halloween, that'd been easily in the top 20 of Halloween costumes for men above the age of 25.
That whole, and I know this isn't kind of movie, and TV talk, but
not even close.
Have you read any of the other stuff that's come out about that since?
No, I just what you sent me. That's not my world, really. My only taste on that was back when, we did the morning show. You were my connection to wrestling, basically. You and Ryan.
Yeah. No, since that's kind of come out, there's been a lot of backstage stories coming out that since Vince kind of did the hostile takeover and is now back in creative control of the WWE, there's a lot of people not happy in the background. Like people that... Yeah. Are either willing to walk out or like their contracts are coming up and they're like, no, screw it, we're not re-signing. So
the situation inherently is volatile, and because the guy who's owned it, and some would say Iron Fist owned it for years, leaves, instantly there's going to be a change in culture, and then he decides, I'm hostile takeover coming back. That's automatically going to change and rub things, not even like in a malicious way. Things will be different automatically. And so I'm sure that puts some people on their heels a little bit. I'm
going to say this right now. It would make an interesting movie or TV series.
Yeah, no, I think there's at least a good documentary on the WWE.
Oh, you'll never get their permission.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, not necessarily. I've listened to a couple movie-making podcasts that's not 100% correct.
I've listened to a podcast. It's the WebMD of... legal.
I can do an open heart procedure. I listened to 2 podcasts.
I watched Grey's Anatomy one time. It's fine.
Yeah. I listened to the Medical School of Tallahassee's heart surgery podcast. I'm qualified.
We should be fine. All right. Well, with that aside, we do have some movies to talk about this week and some TV stuff. Let's start with the big one, Super Mario Brothers, the Chris Pratt and Jack Black movie. There's a bunch of other big names with this. This is also the one that's had some stuff going on about the voice of Mario himself, Chris Pratt. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. I don't care. I get why people would be a little tweaked about Chris Pratt. By all accounts, we'll say Norwegian ancestry, maybe Irish ancestry, taking over it's been a cartoonish Italian stereotype forever, but I just don't care. I don't know if this is a movie anybody's really been wanting. It's like the beauty of Super Mario Brothers is playing it, not necessarily watching it. Like the Sonic movie came out, and I was like, who cares?
You know what?
I want to make that little sucker go get the rings. I don't want to watch him have to deal with some, alive James Marsden character. Who cares?
That movie was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, yeah. I mean, once they figured out the actual animation of the character and got that all straightened out, it was decent. But
I still think that's a conspiracy. Have you ever heard that about that movie, The Sonic?
Yeah, that's totally legit to think that would be. Look, any marketing is good, and it's not like the lead animator for that movie was in a big scandal involving some school bus or whatever. It's just that the character had teeth.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Did you watch the Chip and Dale's movie?
No, I don't think so.
Chip and Dale, the Rescue Rangers or whatever that was on Disney. One very, very funny movie in general, but they actually have Ugly Sonic in it.
Oh, like from the original cut?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
He's a character in it, and it's really, really funny how they work him into it.
No clue of what this is, what you're talking about, but to me, that sounds like a great side movie, is the original Sonic character and how he's like this, nobody likes me, and I'm down on my luck type of character, He was, they were at like a comic book convention, and he was one of the people that you can go get an autograph from, Ugly Sonic or something. I mean, just call the movie Ugly Sonic.
It's really funny. If you get a chance, watch Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. It really is worth it.
Not going to do that.
Chip is also a metalhead in it. He's walking down the street. He pulls out his earbuds, and it is straight metal music. It is just awesome. So, anyways, Moose on the line with me talking about movies right now. Super Mario Brothers. I think this is going to be one of those ones that, as long as you go into it thinking this is a kids movie, it's for kids.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be okay.
Yeah. And, you mentioned the Chris Pratt controversy. I wonder if that was kind of a thing. I wouldn't be surprised if you found out that movie studios and their marketing departments, they leak false controversies, like, okay,
Yeah.
we're about to start pumping out the Super Mario Brothers hype. Hey, Derek, here, create this Twitter account and put on there, about how, oh my God, they cast Chris Pratt. How could they do that? This is so offensive. And boom, before you know it, it snowballs into this big third page of the entertainment rag type of story.
I thought it was interesting if you watch the trailers for it over the last few months. The voice changed a few times on Mario, what they played of him, but there's a lot of it that you don't hear Mario talk. You hear Toad, you hear Luigi, you hear Jack Black as Bowser,
Right.
but you don't hear a lot of Mario in it.
And maybe that is, if this controversy is legit, maybe that's why you don't hear much of him in the new trailers. But who would you cast as Mario other than Chris Pratt? Like if you were casting this, let's say you're Disney or whoever, Nintendo executive, who are you putting in the role?
Pedro Pascal.
I mean, he's in everything, right? You got to go Pedro. He's your first instinct, right?
I really love the Mario Kart thing he did on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, okay.
With the Last of Us Mario world.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really super pumped at all. This does nothing for me, and I played the game as a kid.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Okay.
It's not something I care about.
Over on Rotten Tomato, I want to say it was critics don't care for it. Audience, it has a 96 out of 1,000 verified ratings.
All right, so the kids will like it.
So, all right, Moose, joining me. What's the name of your podcast?
Married with Channels. We review TV shows and movies. My wife and I. My wife.
How's Jody?
She's good.
Yeah?
She's busy. She's working like a dog up there, all up in the insurance biz.
Nice. Just screwing people out of money left and right.
Oh no. Well, yeah, they're like big companies, so it's okay.
It's fine. It's what they do. So
I am here to audit your stuff. Guess what? You owe money, bish.
The other movie coming out this weekend is Owen Wilson in this Paint movie. It's supposed to be in the world of kind of Bob Ross, but he's not really. He's like an evil Bob Ross or something.
Yeah, I saw that. When I first saw the trailer, I didn't watch the trailer. I just saw the images. I'm like, so is this a Bob Ross biopic? But it's not that at all. It's just kind of inspired by.
Yeah, I think 25% on the tomato meter is kind of telling of what you're getting into.
Yeah, it's one of those movies that you're like, okay, but I won't see it, but okay. And then it shows up on, Hulu movies, and you're like, all right, I'll watch it. It's Thursday at 4 p.m. I got nothing going on.
It's TBS on a Saturday.
Right. So, okay.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever watched much Bob Ross?
We have watched a little bit over the years. Jody's a painter. I don't know if I told you that, but she watches some Bob Ross. And
yeah, you sent me your finger paintings.
My wife is legitimate. No, but we watch some Bob Ross. It's good. It's like, look, if that's the only thing on at 11:30 at night and you can't get to sleep, you'll be asleep within 20 minutes.
I love Bob Ross stuff. I will watch.
Did you ever see the documentary on Bob Ross?
I've seen something like that about him, but I don't know if I've watched that specific one.
It's actually pretty fascinating how there was this big pull. Like he signed on with this couple who licensed all his paints and brushes, and they were kind of screwing him over. And interesting story. And I don't recall where we watched it. It's either Netflix or Hulu, but I recommend it.
I want to see a movie about Bob Ross like they did about Mr. Rogers, the Tom Hanks one.
Yeah.
I can't think of what the name of that was. Won't You Be My Neighbor or something?
Yeah. I think that's exactly what it was. Yeah, that's probably going to happen sooner than later, the Bob Ross biopic. I mean, it's an interesting story.
You ever seen the guy that taught him?
I'm sure I saw him in the documentary. I just can't remember.
He's got his own show that's like Bob Ross, but with another dude.
Oh yeah, he's like he was an older guy.
He was an older, angry guy.
Yes, yeah, he's in the documentary. For sure. There's a lot going on in the Bob Ross scene, and people should check it out, bro.
Absolutely. So, Paint, if you want to go see Owen Wilson, I guess.
What a boring title. I hate it when movies just put a word for a title.
Well, what would you call it then?
I don't know. Put something more in there, like Paint for Love, or Paint is Life, or Paint Controversy, Paint Pain. Ooh, Paint. I like that.
That sounds like a offshoot UFC movie.
There you go. You bring in the frat bros. They're walking in the theater thinking they're going to see some little Irish guy kicking some other guy in the face for an hour. No, it's some guy with a perm.
No,
painting.
you know what it'd be? Paint would be. It would be like a paintball movie or something.
Oh yeah.
There was a dude, legitimately, this was back when I was in my 20s. We were sitting around drinking one night, and this dude, he was completely trying to tell us and convince us that paintball as a sport was going to take over the NFL in like 5 to 10 years.
No. I've paintballed and it's fun, but there's no way. Have you even seen like a paintball tournament on ESPN 8? No, they do. They have more cornhole tournaments than they do anything with paintball. That's a good testament to just how popular paint, or how I should say broadcast worthy paintball is.
That dude, I forget what his name was. He was a dork to begin with, but
Oh, and you're not?
No, I'm a dork of a different sort.
Okay.
And I rhymed it.
That should be on a t-shirt.
Dork of a different sort.
Yeah, do it.
What was your old thing? Moose Holdings and Company or something?
Yeah, Moose Holdings Incorporated.
That's it. You need the button there.
I know, right? I don't. Might have a button actually.
Here, let me just push this.
I have a little soundboard app. Maybe it's on here somewhere.
Moose is joining me this week in place of Mike Reyes, who is out on vacation. So that kind of takes care of your movies this week. Super Mario Brothers. We'll go see it because of Jace.
Yeah.
And I want to see it because of Jack Black, because I think it'll make a great Bowser.
Where'd Mike go? Did he go to Bangkok? Do that whole dark web vacation thing again?
No, not this time. I believe it. No. Where was he? He's got family in the South. I forget where.
Oh, okay.
So he's just taking a couple days off, driving down with the wife. They drove from New Jersey down to the South.
Oh, God.
You ever driven through Mississippi?
No, I've heard. You've told me.
Yeah.
And other people told me it's just the most boring drive, right?
I don't know what's worse, Western Nebraska or Mississippi.
Well, I can attest to the Nebraska route. If it's anything like that, they can both go to hell.
It is nothing but straight interstate and pine trees on both sides, and that's it. There's no.
All right, we're getting off topic, but have you seen the Nebraska tourism ads?
No.
They've I haven't seen it recently, but up until about a week or two ago, I saw these ads, and it's like, we've got birds. And it just shows like migrating birds in Nebraska. And that's it. That's their tourism ad. And it's not like presented in a tongue in cheek. We're making fun of ourselves. We get it. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
It seems very legit. Like, hey, Sheila here in the marketing department for Nebraska State Tourism. Let's do one where we focus on the migrating birds. That'll bring people in. Let's do that.
Sabo and I, my buddy, who we were driving across Nebraska one time when we got to the western part. At one point, I go, God really phoned this one in, didn't he?
I know. It should sell like a big speaker you put on top of your vehicle, and when you drive through Nebraska, it just plays on loop. F you. Your state sucks. F you.
The Nebraska people love us. I'll put it that way. Moose from Married with Chad is on the line with me right now. He and his wife do a podcast about movies and television. We'll put the links up at the website. The Mandalorian, did you watch that last night?
We did. We caught up on it. And what'd you think?
The Mandalorian,
Here we go.
It's nothing but side quests.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's first of all, Jack Black was a guest star last night. Lizzo.
Captain Bombardier.
And Christopher Lloyd, of all people.
Yes. Boy, he's looking old, right?
Yeah, he is.
Woof.
They've had some interesting people as guest stars. Tim Meadows last week, Jack Black. I mean, I didn't that didn't take me out of it, but Mandalorian just seems like a lot of side quests.
I was talking to Jody about this last night after we finished the latest episode. The first season, great, but season 2, fine. It's just kind of started to go downhill for me. I don't get excited when there's a new episode released. It's just kind of there. And I think they've kind of lost their way with what they want to do with that show. It's become this whole this whole show about like self-contained episodes.
Yeah.
They had one with, I want to say last season, wasn't there one with Boba Fett where it was like all Boba Fett for 30 minutes or?
No, that was the Book of Boba Fett where they,
Yes.
No, wait, yeah. He did show up late in the thing and he got his armor back. And that was the whole point of it.
Well, they had one with like the Dr. Pershing one from this season, which I thought was interesting, but so far it hasn't really tied into the main through line of the show. I don't really find it interesting anymore.
Yeah.
Like the only thing this season that stood out to me was it was either episode 1 or 2 where Mando, Din Djarin, whatever, gets captured by the crab.
Yeah.
Bot. I thought the design, the art deco on that.
It was creepy.
It was creepy and cool and different. other than that, this season's just been, and the last season's just been okay. And I'm not trying to say I have the answer for how to make The Mandalorian more engaging, and what I'm getting from last night and the last few episodes is the executives at Disney are like, they love this Mandalorian character, put a ton more Mandalorians in there, you know? And so now it's kind of ruining the mystique. Remember Boba Fett? He was his own thing and it was cool. And then Mandalorian came around and that he made him somewhat cooler. And they're like, well, we need more Mandalorians. And now you got 40 freaking Mandalorians every episode.
The Mandalorians never did anything for me. Now, whether it was Boba Fett, it was like, oh, you crashed your jetpack into the side of a ship, and then you fell into a monster pit. Like, right. I was never a big Boba Fett guy. The Mandalorians on like Clone Wars or Rebels and all that, where you get a lot of the lore, it was like, okay.
Yeah.
You guys wear buckets on your head. It's awesome.
Right. I agree with you to a certain extent. I remember when I first saw Boba Fett in, I think it was Empire or Return of the Jedi. And he just looked cool. And he did that kind of slow head nod.
Yeah, he looked cool, but.
And he's a bounty hunter. That guy's a badass. But I didn't obsess over it. I didn't want to wear that to any conventions or anything. And I think Mandalorian came around and they're like, oh, this is cool. It's like taking that and amped it up into like this kind of, Clint Eastwood spaghetti Western type of feel. And now I don't think they know what they're doing with The Mandalorian.
There's probably a bigger picture that they're trying to set up and they're just taking too long to get to it maybe. Mando on the whole, I like him. I like the character. I like some of the stuff. I think it was funny after everything with the Darksaber. It was like, yeah, it's hers now. Is that cool with you guys? Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Really? That was it?
And why didn't you give it to her earlier? You just wait until it's like,
the right time?
Yeah, it's expository and, this works good in the plot line. They'll do it now.
The Baby Yoda, I'm not over Baby Yoda, but can we make him look a little more real? You had robots in that episode that looked real and moved around like they were real. Baby Yoda jumps like someone threw him.
Yeah, there's some puppeteer work going on there, I think. And like when he flipped into Lizzo's arms, I couldn't tell if that was CGI, if that was like a puppet thing. I don't know. I feel like they don't know what they're doing with The Mandalorian. I don't think they have an end game for it. We're going to do 5 seasons and he's going to end up here. I don't sense that. And like I said, the Star Wars curse has always been like, oh, people like it. Put 1,000 more of them in there. Like lightsaber battles. Remember in the first Star Wars movie, you had like 1 or 2 lightsaber battles and that was cool. And the prequels come around. There's a GD lightsaber battle every 5 minutes.
You're not wrong. Part of it, I think it goes into one of the other things we might touch on a little bit is the Picard stuff, because those are the 2 shows that kind of come out at the same time for me that are kind of in that same neighborhood of Star Wars, Star Trek, the 2 big sci-fi things. And the last couple years, Picard hasn't been as good as some had kind of hoped. And this season, Picard has been so good that, for me, I wonder if it's taming down what Mandalorian's doing, because Picard is so much better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I haven't watched Picard. I've seen a couple of Red Letter Media where they break down episodes and kind of go over the pluses and minuses. And what I gather is the first 2 seasons have been kind of, we'll say, falling short.
They got better every season. Like they tried to do something, and I think it's something with Star Trek. And you know what? Maybe even to an extent Star Wars with, when you look at The Last Jedi and some of that stuff, where you try and do something so different that it scares off your fans.
Yeah.
And then you kind of have to ease them back. Where the second season of it was still a little bit out there, but you had more touches of what Star Trek is kind of about. And then this season, you've got the hero ship, you've got the cruise, you've got a lot of, I don't want to say fan service because they've done it in a way that has made sense. It's not like they just like, hey, did you see the Enterprise in the background?
Oh yeah,
it's fan service done in a way that it's a part of the story.
Well, that's good, because I was going to say, doing these shows, like making new properties out of an intellectual property that's established, that's got to be hard, because you're trying to appeal to, you got to satisfy the fans because you want their dollars, but also you want to bring in new fans. So I'm sure that balance is not an easy task. When something like Picard or Star Trek or Star Wars, whether it gets a new show or a reboot, whatever, I don't want to say I feel sorry for those creators, but they probably have quite a hill to.
Oh, I have no doubt. Well, you look at Mandalorian. Mandalorian, for the most part, is a good show. Mm-hmm. There's not an episode on there that I'd be like, except that one where they showed the random guy, living in the, what was that episode a couple episodes ago?
Pershing, Dr.
Yeah. That's the only one that I can go, you know what? I did not enjoy that episode. on any level. But
Yeah,
for the most part, it's like, you know what? I don't mind this. It's fine. Like Boba Fett, though, I thought that show sucked.
everybody thought that show sucked. Everybody to a T. I don't think I've seen one person's like Boba Fett show was great. Not even good.
Boba Fett looked like me putting on armor and bumble my way through a story.
Ooh. I don't know. That one, they made some mistakes there, starting with, I think.
Like they just needed him falling down a hill, losing parts of his helmet or parts of his armor.
Or maybe Boba Fett doing some bad noises, and he's got the synthetic voice with the mask on. Oh, I gotta go to the John.
Can you imagine being at a barbecue with Mandalorians that can't take their helmet off? Like playing in the pool and stuff, and there's like dude around the grill, Hawaiian shirt unbuttoned, but he's still got the helmet on.
Is that why Mandalorians have capes? A lot of them have the capes like under their jetpacks so that when they're eating, they just pull that cape over their head to cover their face.
I told Steph the last episode where they were all, fighting and all that. I go, they're just low budget Iron Men.
Pretty much. I do like their gadgets though. They have like all the little gadgets, you know, the flamethrower, the cable. And one episode that stood out that really sucked was when they rescued the boy. I just didn't care. And that big dumb bird, like what?
Really? You can't beat a dumb bird?
The big dumb bird. You've got a flamethrower and rocket launchers and jetpacks. What am I missing here?
You can travel faster than the speed of light, but the bird on the mountain has you beat.
Well, we should have known when Boba Fett fell in the Sarlacc.
Oh, God. Moose from Married with Channels on the line with me right now talking about movies since Mike Reyes is out. Over in the realm of movie trailers, we did get a pretty cool one for Spider-Man, Across the Spider-Verse. I believe it's the first real we got something about it a while ago, but this is a first deep look that we've had in a while. It's
bringing that same aesthetic that was so cool and fresh from the first one. I love that was like a whole new look. It's like pleasant. It looks kind of hyper realistic, but it has those comic book flourishes. And the movie was good. That's obviously the big thing. So I'm hoping that this one delivers too. But
did you ever hear the thing about the first movie? And somebody at my office laughed when I told them this, but the people that made the movie, I had heard that they wanted a movie that whatever part you pause it at would look like a comic book.
Yeah, totally.
Like a picture from a comic book. And they thought that was like, well, isn't that any movie? I'm like, oh, shut up.
No, it's not, Steve.
But no, this looks great. Have you watched some of the Easter egg breakdowns of this?
No.
Oh, that's so good.
Sometimes I go down that rabbit hole with the Easter egg videos on YouTube, but this one isn't like really instigating that for me.
It's really good.
I bet you, because you're a Spider-Man fan, right?
I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and there is a lot of cool stuff in the background of this. And stuff.
Has Jay seen the first one?
Yeah, loved it.
So I bet he's looking forward to this, huh?
Oh, I'm going more for me. He'll go, but it's for me.
He's like eating his popcorn next to you, like, quiet!
Shut the up, Jace.
Well, Miles is talking. You need to shut it.
I'll buy him a ticket in a different part of the theater. Here,
you go watch it. Yeah. Go watch this Julia Roberts action movie.
You sit down here. Daddy's going to be up here with my 3 seats I bought for myself, so nobody sits by me.
Slinging his web while he's watching the movie.
Oh, that could be. And if he was older, that might sound a little different. But
no, I'm looking forward to that. I like the first movie, and I still haven't seen the Spider-Man, the latest Tom Holland movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of shocking to me.
I know, right?
That's crazy. We just got the warning from Zoom, everybody, that we got 10 minutes left. So,
radio on a budget. Hey, boss, can we get the paid version of Zoom?
No,
it's like $8 a month. No,
this isn't even in the station Zoom. This is my personal one. So
we should use theirs.
Yeah, we don't have one. We have Teams.
I love how we do these segments and you record them for that's like 30, 40 minutes. And you're like, okay, got to knock this down to 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, really. Well, that's radio nowadays.
Yep.
But I'm just.
What else you got?
Hogwarts, or Harry Potter, I should say. Looks like they're going to be doing a new TV series.
Yeah, and I read that they're going to do every season will be
one of the books. Yeah.
One of the books, yeah. Which, okay, I don't know. We shouldn't be surprised anymore. I'm not any big Harry Potter fan. The movies, when we watched them with Evie, they're fine. They're enjoyable. There's something there that's different. I don't know what you can do now that would be much different or cooler other than it's just recast, right?
It's turning the money wheel.
Oh, absolutely. There's no reason for this other than making money. Now, I think the catch is what's her name? J.K. Rowling has not signed off on this yet.
I heard she's supposed to be an executive producer or whatever because she still has say over, final say over how they do this stuff. So
can you imagine how rich she is now?
Oh yeah, I mean, and people love to hate her, and there are reasons.
I'm not like you. I'm not surprised that they're making a TV show out of Harry Potter. It's money to be made. There's a whole new audience who probably hasn't. You got to think though, even like a kid who's old enough for the TV show. Let's say it premieres in early 2025. They've probably seen the movies by then, right?
Yeah, but like, I'll give you an example. Jace, he's 8 now, and we're just now starting to read the book.
Oh, okay.
And that's 10 years since the last movie?
Sounds right.
Because they tried to do the Fantastic Beasts stuff.
I don't know. If they were doing a show where it was like, Harry and Hermione, doing different adventures or, stuff that wasn't in the book, that would be interesting.
Well, I think you do get into some of the stuff, and if you do it as a TV series, you might be able to fit more of what was in the book into, because every movie cuts something out of the story. I mean, even if it is a 2.5 hour long movie, there's still a lot of stuff they left out of those books.
That's true.
Or out of those movies, I should say.
Excuse me. Yeah, I've seen a couple stories where like this, the limited series shows, a lot of them have started out as movie scripts, but for whatever reason, they're like, well, this would be a 3-hour movie. We can't do that. How about we make this an 8-hour TV show?
Which is, do you think that's the thing with Star Wars and Star Trek? Going back to that?
I don't know.
I don't know if the movie's going to work, but we have a pretty good story. Let's put it out as this.
You're asking me what again?
Basically, is it just... Mike and I have had this kind of conversation before as well, but it touches on, is it better to make something a TV series nowadays than a movie? Does it make more sense?
I think it just depends on ultimately where you think you're going to make more money, right?
No, I believe that.
I think it does make more sense nowadays, especially since COVID, where, people are watching stuff on their TVs at home. And, if you have intellectual property A, you could put it on a movie screen for 2 hours, or you could put it on a TV show for 6-8 hours, a season.
Yeah.
I think some people would probably be, especially if it's good, more inclined to sit for 8 hours at home.
Is it kind of going back to like, and I can't think of what the phrase is, but like after something, like Lost, when everybody would talk about it, do you get more bang for your buck like that?
I don't know. I think it's all about where's the money going to come. Like this could be, you put episodes on YouTube. A lot of shows do that where they'll put a segment at least from an episode up on YouTube, and they make some ad dollars off it if it hits a certain amount of views, and there's money there. You got subscriptions that could bring in money. I think it's an interesting question that probably executives didn't have to deal with 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah, technology is wonderful.
Absolutely. I mean, I think more people are consuming the stuff on their iPads and at home. Everybody's got high-speed internet. You'd be crazy not to at least talk about doing it on the streaming service.
Okay, let me ask you this in with Harry Potter in mind, and granted we have 4 minutes and 20 seconds according to this to answer this question and say goodbye, but would people go back to more Harry Potter movies? Like if they rebooted the series, would they go back and watch it?
Like reboot as in new cast, new everything?
Cast, like what they're doing with the TV show, if it was going to be, hey, we're going to make a whole new series of movies, starting at the beginning.
They'd be doing the books again?
Yeah. All 7 books right over again.
Based on what I know about Harry Potter fans, I think, yes, they would. I think the woman who grew up with Harry Potter 15 years ago, there's a new
she wants the nostalgia.
Yeah, there's a new Order of the Phoenix coming out. Oh, well, I'd be curious to see what that girl from Euphoria does as Hermione, and that looks like a different take on it. Interesting,
Well, what's going to be interesting about this, when you look at the books, the first couple ones are genuinely shorter and more childlike stories. Right. And that was always kind of what I liked about the series, was it kind of grew up and got darker as you went, as they got older and more sophisticated.
Absolutely.
So it'll be interesting the first couple seasons how they kind of play the child aspect of it and growing these people into a bigger, more adult story. Because you go from wizard child to Wizarding World version of the Ku Klux Klan, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure the fans will eat it up, and I'm sure there'll be some visual difference going on, and you'll probably be able to expand on those books a little bit, and there's probably tons of money to be made.
And that's what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, he joined me today to talk about movies and TV and just general craziness. Moose from Married with Channels. We'll have all your details at the bottom of the page. Thanks for filling in this week, man.
Well, thanks for having me on, B-sox. I'm sorry it took Mike to go on vacation to get me back on, but I enjoyed it as always. I don't mean that in like a derogatory way.
I was thinking
I'm genuinely happy you brought me on.
I was thinking about something we had talked about the last couple times. Something that was supposed to happen.
Flip-flop?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
I'll tell you off.
Okay.
Okay, bye.